Okay, you've got a character. Great. Now what? Well, first, we have to establish a few things. Starting your research means starting in the right headspace, and that means knowing that each character has the potential and ability to take you far in committee. No character has a significant advantage over another in a crisis committee. You have the same opportunity as every other delegate. Every character in a crisis committee has something called portfolio powers. Portfolio powers is just a really fancy way of saying what resources, connections, and political powers a character has readily available. To model it, we can stick with our good friend President Bush from the last episode, who is currently addressing the 2008 stock market crash. President Bush has a ton of money. He's loaded. So in terms of resources, he is brilliant. Connections-wise, he's also pretty good. It goes without saying, but he is the president, so he gets all those juicy executive powers. However, when the 2008 stock market crash happened, President Bush's approval ratings plummeted to around 20%. So, even though he has great resources and connections, he may not be able to use them in the way he wants, as any small action could make people hate him even more. If people hate him enough, he could even be assassinated. Despite this, you want to remain true to your character. President Bush wouldn't become a Democrat out of nowhere. Remember, Backroom will capitalize on everything you do wrong. Backroom will try to push you down. It's your job to balance everything personal to your character while still acknowledging the committee. In addition to finding out your own character, it's important to understand other characters in the committee and find out who's on your side. For those not on your side, it's especially important to investigate their flaws and shortcomings. You can use those flaws against them in committee. By investigating other characters, you should also be able to find the general direction of the committee, also known as what Backroom wants you to do. In President Bush's committee, if there are any more current government officials, they might be looking for how you plan to address the nation's outrage. If there are a substantial amount of Democrats, you might be looking at political warfare. Here comes the fun part, crisis arcs. A crisis arc is what your end goal is in committee, and how you plan on getting there. Once you have researched the characters in committee, including the actual crisis and how it even happened, you can establish a reasonable end goal for yourself and carve out a basic path, steps you'll take on how to get there. When making your crisis arc, you should also consider what Backroom might do to stop you, what other delegates will think, and even the strain on your portfolio powers. For President Bush, if he still wants to conquer Canada after researching his committee, he might start on that agenda by accusing the Canadian government of causing the 2008 stock market crash. He could spread this accusation through propaganda supported by more favorable Republican leaders at the time. This way, the public will support the claim that Canada caused the recession, as it's coming from a person the public likes. Stay tuned to find out how President Bush can even begin to think of doing that in committee. Backroom notes.